just joining us, we are discussing the latest news, and that is the unemployment rate in the country has risen yet again. 34.4% is where it sits. Let's bring into the conversation Leanne Emery. She is the acting CEO of the Youth Employment Service. Leanne, good morning to you. Thanks indeed for joining us here alongside my colleague Xolani Mbanjwa. The last guest brought up a very interesting phrase as we were concluding the conversation, and he talks about the survivorless nature of entrepreneurship in the country. How badly has it been affected, keeping in mind the people that your initiative is targeting, and that is young people that we saw in the majority in last month's looting?
So good to be here. Thanks for having me. Certainly seeing these stats that have just broken is heartbreaking as a nation. You know, our last stats showed youth between the ages of 15 and 24 reaching around 75% unemployment, which is obviously untenable. Us, from a youth employment service point of view, you know, we are aimed at youth throughout the country, and we are certainly seeing this, this desperate need for work opportunities, and that from a hopeful point of view, what happens when you are able to put a young person into a job and the ripple effect that has across communities and families. We have seen that around 17% of youth exiting the program now are starting their own businesses, which is a really exciting stat for us. But obviously, you know, from our point of view, getting those young people into jobs is important now more than ever.
Leanne, that is more than what we need. Actually, we need more such initiatives, such as yourselves, to actually help young people and guide them to finding work. But my question is, what is your biggest, challenge when it comes to getting young people into the job market? Is it a question of skills? Is it a question of the private sector not being receptive? What is your biggest challenge that you would like to deal with?
So, I mean, the Youth Employment Service has been around for 137 weeks. We have 1,600 partners, and with these partners, we've created 60,000 work opportunities, which equates to 3.4 billion rand back into the economy. Our challenge is to get more businesses on board, get more businesses to join the movement and create these opportunities for youth. Structural and spatial inequality is still a mammoth challenge here in South Africa, and that's why part of how we run the Youth Employment Service in our program is that we enable business to either take youth into their own organizations or to use our network of implementation partners. So we have 31 implementation partners across the country, and these implementation partners work in industries ranging from education, healthcare, conservation, digital skills. And as you so rightly said, one of the biggest challenges we have in South Africa is that, in the first economy where jobs are being created, we have industrialization, fourth industrial revolution, automation. These are highly skilled jobs. And on the other side, we have 8 million unemployed people, and around more than 50% of our school leavers do so without a matric certificate. So there is a massive mismatch between skills and opportunities. With that being said, that's why the Youth Employment Service, part of what we do is we ensure that the opportunities that we are creating for young people do not necessarily need to be highly skilled. So as I mentioned earlier, we have this network of implementation partners that work across the country that place youth in communities so that they're close to home. And with it being Women's Month, just to highlight that 60% of these young people are women, and 85% come from grant recipient households. So we see this ripple effect immediately in communities and families.
Leanne, you mentioned 4IR, the fourth industrial revolution. That is said to be the next revolution where jobs are going to be created. How much of that is being leveraged, in particular, by young people?
So, we at YES are working hard to bring on as many partners as we can that build these skills. And we're seeing that companies in the tech sector, the ICT sector is one of the biggest job creation sectors that we have at YES at the moment. But it's not just the ICT sector that are bringing on these skills. We have from farming, we have a beautiful program at the moment being run at one of our hubs where young people are learning to be drone pilots, and they can be then absorbed into the railway industry, agriculture, etc. So the fourth industrial revolution is definitely where we need to be spending more time and effort. We at YES are expanding our network of partners to assist businesses in placing youth so that they're upskilled into digital skills. A lot of these partners actually train youth to be entrepreneurs, so they can then learn things like coding, web development, etc., and then go on to help other small businesses, and this obviously has a ripple effect.
Leanne Emery, she is the acting CEO of the Youth Employment Service. Thank you very much for your contribution to this conversation alongside my colleague here in studio, Xolani Mbanjwa, our business editor. It has been indeed a fruitful conversation. However, it is one that is depressing as well. Many people sitting without jobs. If I'm quoting you correctly, Xolani, you said 580,000 people are now out of jobs as a direct result of the latest figures that we're seeing.
Yes.